Here's how to lose fat when your metabolism slows or is getting slower by the day. Here's how you get in shape whilst your metabolism is slowing down or non-existent. Now, firstly, your metabolism can never, ever be broken, because if your metabolism were broken, you'd be dead. The metabolism is about making energy and utilizing energy. If you had no metabolism to make, you would be dead because you wouldn't need to make any energy, and therefore your body would not be useful. So it's not broken, it's changed, or you don't understand it. And that's the key video for today. I want to get you into the mindset of understanding what is happening to make sure that you can lose fat whilst your metabolism changes, and what to do about those changes, if anything, that is a cause for concern. Not everything to do with metabolism means that it's a negative or that we need to change it. It's about understanding what you can control and what you can do something about. And then the other stuff we can discard to the side and just let bygones be bygones. There are some big metabolic adaptations that happen over time when it comes to your metabolism. You know, people talk about thyroid or hormones, testosterone levels, and there are some variations that do change over time with your metabolism, how many calories that you burn and how many calories you intake, and basically what your body does with those energy cells on a day-to-day basis. But what we need to remind ourselves is, if we're not medically looking at, if we've got our bloods done and everything is absolutely fine, then we can take that next step to understand that if bloods are absolutely fine, the rest of it comes down to what the energy exchange is between calories that go in and then calories that go out, or energy in versus energy out. Once we took away that medical side of things, we can understand that these are the areas that we need to put all our eggs in the basket. Now, a lot of people get hung up on like what boosts metabolism. So there's everything from caffeine, green tea, different supplements, what time you eat your food, if you don't eat, if you different protein sources, the macronutrients levels and breakdowns. There are so many things that look at increasing your metabolism that it's understanding what is actually useful or not. So let's just get it super clear. Every time you eat different types of food sources, every time you don't eat and you spend a large time not eating, you will change your metabolic rate on an acute level because you're giving it different inputs. The energy inside of things is mismatched and changed. So there's always going to be more things that increase your metabolic adaptation, or metabolic rate. There's things that are going to be decrease your metabolic rate. But it's not something we should look at from a acute level on a day-to-day basis and worry about. You know, most of the studies where you'll see ginseng or green tea or, you know, this food or that food or this macro breakdown or this exercise helps increase your metabolic rate is because they look at the studies on such an acute level. It increases this amount of burning over this time in this 12-hour period or 1-hour period. When actually, to be able to get consistent fat loss results, we have to look at metabolic rate over a time period of, days or weeks and months. And then what you find is that when you look at those weeks, days and months, those small data parts, the supplements, the research that people are spouting about their particular training method, they all go away into the distance as unimportant because over the long term, they don't really do the same thing. In acute levels, there's a high amount, but who wants 1 hour of extra stuff, whereas actually fat loss is a 24-hour thing. So there are a lot of things in short that can increase your metabolic rate, but the things that you need to be looking at is what we call the metabolic stabilizers. So I don't talk about anything to do with the different supplement variations and like what macronutrients increase metabolic rate. We focus on the things that you can control daily that make the biggest change possible. One of those is going to be obviously the amount of exercise that is going out. So energy in versus energy out. So energy outside of things would be a lot around how much movement are you doing on a day-to-day basis. Most people forget that metabolism is how much you put in and how much you go out. So if you change every single day how many steps that you're doing, if you become a potato for 2 days on the sofa, you change your metabolic rate. You change how many calories your body is burning. So getting a consistent variable on step activity is going to be the easiest way for you to create metabolic stability in terms of the biggest lever that you can pull. So doing your 10,000 steps every day or 70,000 across the week allows you to have this stabilizer that doesn't account for those acute ups and downs of different food variations and what we're doing at this time and doing this time. It's something that spans over a 24-hour, 7-day period. So that's the first metabolic stabilizer that will help you maintain your metabolism whilst you're dropping body fat. Number 2, I think, is looking at your other output, which is going to be your workouts. Getting consistent variations within your workouts, making sure that you're getting stronger over time will increase that metabolism to a degree. Now, a lot of people would say, Nathan, but if I build muscle tissue, I burn way more calories on a day-to-day basis. And then I'll come back and say, the research is really clear. if you gain 1 pound of extra muscle, which is a lot, considering it probably take you 6 months to a year to acquire that if you're a natural person who hasn't just stepped into the gym for the first time last week, is that's going to take you 6 months to acquire, and that's going to give you 7 calories on an extra day-to-day basis. So you're putting 6 months of work, and at rest, that muscle tissue will be burning 7 calories extra per day. So does muscle tissue have a large amount of impact on metabolic rate in short, small dosages? Probably not at rest. Now, there is some case in point is that if you have 10 kilos of extra muscle or 10 pounds of extra muscle, you are going to be able to be stronger, lift bigger weights, do more volume in the gym, which then creates more active calorie burning or metabolic rate increasing during those time periods, which is absolutely fine. So from a resting perspective, it's not that important. For what it can do for you when you work out, it's massive. So it's not something you should overrate and be like, well, I gained 10 kilos of muscle and now I can have an extra 7,000 calories on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't really work like that. So once you get the consistent variables of workouts into your day-to-day, it's going to be much easier if you understand how that metabolic stabilizer works. It's like your goal in terms of a diet or in terms of any workout is to get stronger over time to create better health within your joints, muscles, bones, osteoporosis changes, muscle tissue, definitely getting stronger and being more fit and healthier comes down to you progressively getting stronger, because the body has this thing, whereas if you don't use it, you lose it. So you need to keep on progressing more so that you don't lose all of the gains that you've had previously. So getting progressive overload is almost a metabolic stabilizer, because you are getting stronger over time, which is then creating more output. So that metabolic rate, if it was dropping due to age or testosterone levels or the amount of steps that you're doing, or you were, not eating that lovely ginseng that increase your metabolic rate, it would just increase and stabilize, so that you're stabilizing with the amount of output that you're doing and getting stronger over time. So the law of diminishing returns is not there where, every week you do the same 10 kilo dumbbells, and by the time the 7th week comes, you're burning less calories at the week number 7 than you would be at week number 1, because your body has adapted to it already. So it creates that stabilizer because you're always progressing, which means that you're not declining. And the last one is your nutrition structure and your food going in. Like I said, outside of the medical field of thyroid and testosterone and hormones, and once you got that checked off and there's no particular issues, the rest of metabolic stability or metabolic rate is all down to input versus output. The workout stabilizer and then the step stabilizer is all about the output, how much you're doing on a day-to-day basis to create output. Now, most people, when they're looking at fat loss, have a problem when it comes to the input of how many calories they're eating on a day-to-day basis. So if you want to lose weight and you feel like your metabolism has changed, these are the variables that you need to make sure they're accurate. Now, one thing about metabolic changes is that it doesn't give a shit whether you've had a bad day or not. It doesn't care whether you've had a busy week at work, or that you don't fancy being accurate with your food tonight, or you just fancy a takeaway. Your body holds the score, which is an amazing book, which I would definitely recommend reading. But your body holds the score, which means that it doesn't care about the reasons why you justified to eat particular things or not do that amount of exercise. It just holds the score, which is how much calories there went in and how many calories went out. And if there was too many, you'd gain fat. Too little, you'd use your own fat stores and you'd lose fat. So just understanding that the accuracy to these numbers is the most important part. Is that you can eat healthy all day, and if you're eating too much and burning too little, you're not going to get any benefit. And it's the same as when you're doing the opposite, when you're eating too little and then you're burning lots of calories, it's going to continually get that fat loss for you. You want to create the third metabolic stabilizer, which is going to be your nutrition structure. It's having accuracy with how much you're eating on a day-to-day basis. Create a structure with your nutrition. Follow the guidelines of 10 times your body weight in pounds or 12 times your body weight in pounds for a moderate to small deficit when it comes to fat loss, and follow those calories accurately on a day-to-day basis. Now, there's multiple ways that you can do that. There's loads of videos that we've done in the past about how you can set up your diet for success, to create consistency, accountability, and for the best variation for yourself. But once you get these metabolic stabilizers in place, once you realize it's about these, not about the supplement that you had, or that the intermittent fasting that you did, or the sleep that you didn't have, or that your thyroid is, medically you're still in a good spot, but you're thinking otherwise. Once you come to the conclusion that your metabolism is not really slowing down, it's not broken, and that you're just looking at the wrong data and you're looking at the wrong things to affect these things, then you'll start making the changes today, which allows you then to get to amazing fat loss results that you want to get.